Hey everybody, it's Delilah from The Leader Appears. I am super duper excited to be with you guys tonight. It is Tuesday and you guys are all familiar. Well, those of you who hang out with me are familiar that it's Tuesday night, and on Tuesday we talk leadership. And so welcome to returning participants, and welcome also to those who are here for the first time. I am Delilah Bartlett. I get to be your host for about 10 minutes as we unpack one of our key leadership skills, or sometimes it's just an overall topic about leadership that I bring forth to encourage some, inspire others, and reinforce yet even more in their leadership journey. And so today, our top Talk Leadership Tuesday topic, trying to say that 5 times, is optimistic leadership. And so this is so up my alley. If you guys saw my LinkedIn post, I'm like, yes, this is my vein. I am definitely a glass half full type of leader. I endeavor to show up and light up the entire place when I walk in. I'm looking to encourage and inspire people to get results. I give some strategy and some skills, some actual tactical skills as well, but I am all about inspiration. And so that really goes well with the topic of optimistic leadership. And so, as we unpack optimistic leadership, I'm looking to use one primary tool. I'm pulling it up now, which is an article from Forbes a few years back that talks about the benefit of optimistic leadership. And so, I'm going to talk a little bit about benefit of optimistic leadership, and then I'm also going to talk a little bit about the caution of optimistic leadership. And so, what before we get into optimistic leadership, I do want to give the definition of optimistic. And so, simply, Webster says the definition of optimistic is hopeful and confident about the future. Simple. Someone who's hopeful and confident about the future. So I love the fact that both hopeful and confident. So I have hope, but it's not just willy nilly hope. It's actually confidence as well, that we can get it done. And we're going to get into some of this. And so there are 5 key things that I want to point out here. They say that optimists start businesses. It's often that optimists, although they may not be certain about the future, they're confident that they can create change. And so they move forward and take more risk than a pessimist would. And so optimists are known for creating more business. They refuse to be kind of like today in COVID. Let's take COVID season since that's where we've been. An optimist like myself would say, okay, this is what's happening, but I still see opportunity, right? So during COVID, I'll just say during COVID, I launched a business. I've launched this series of Talk Leadership Tuesday because I know that this is, although there is a reality of what is going on, I still see forward to the future, and so I may behave differently than a pessimistic leader would behave. And so that's one thing. Optimists, and I'm trying to make this kind of quick because you guys know we aim to have these conversations last no longer than 10 minutes. So optimists start businesses. Optimists are also inspiring communicators. We talk with a certain kind of tone. Ronald Reagan was well known. President Ronald Reagan was well known for being a great communicator, and a huge part of that was his optimistic nature. Like he could inspire people, and people would believe in what he had to share because of his optimism. And so that optimistic, that hope and confidence really strengthens your communication style. And it's not for everybody because everybody's not an optimist. But optimists are also known for being inspiring communicators. Third thing about an optimistic leader, they rally the troops. People will rally around optimistic leaders in belief for a better future. And so, case in point, the position that I'm in now, my team has long suffered from a bad rep, just to be honest. We were known as the underdogs. But you put in an optimistic leader like myself, and if I'm able to rally in some other optimistic leaders, you get exactly what we have now, which is I'll just say 5-star type performance in our operational lane. And we are just killing the game. And it comes in part because of the ability to rally the troops around we can do better, right? There's a better future, there's a better outcome. And and the article goes on to say that optimists believe there's a better outcome because they believe that they can help produce the better outcome. We believe, since that's me, we can produce a better outcome. Fourth, optimists see the big picture. And so it goes into talking about the recency effect, the article. And so the recency effect, just to sum it up, is saying, hey, some people tend to recall the things that have happened most recent and allow that to kind of darken or impact the way they see things. Optimists can see the big picture because they're not just so tunnel vision about what happened and what didn't work. They're again hopeful and confident that they can create something different and be a part of something different. And so we're able to see a broader spectrum and not be so tunnel vision and stalled out because just naturally we see more, we hope for more. We're not stuck just based on where we were. We know we can create something different. Lastly, the point that positive point I want to point out about optimistic leadership is they elicit a superhuman effort. And so optimists will really reach in and pull potential and capacity out of folks that they didn't even know they had. Like we will go in and create a whole thing, and it's not really creating, it's more extracting, creating, extracting potential that people didn't even know they had just by our positive, hopeful, and confident nature. So optimistic leaders, high five. So you have to know that about some of your leaders. But if you're an optimistic leader, there is a caution that I would want to give you. Everyone is not like you. And sometimes we can show up so, it's not Pollyanna. I don't want to call it Pollyanna. Just so positive. We can show up so positive that um, we can neglect how other people are feeling or how hard the task may be. And so, in your optimism, when you're showing up to high five everybody and say, hey, I know we can do it, even though it's never been done before, and we're going to do it with 30% less resources than the last person even tried it, like, high five, we can do it. It's well to recognize that the challenge that may be in front of the team. It's well to recognize that, hey, everybody may not think like you, and just to acknowledge it on your path to high five. And that way what happens is that your team feels, first of all, they feel like you're grounded and you're not out of your mind because they're like, well, what is she talking about? How the heck is this ever going to happen? Your recognition, our recognition of this can be challenging, but we still will. Validates their feeling and even maybe even some of the concern that they may have, and gives them a level of confidence that you're not so over the top that you're out of touch with the reality. And so at the end of the day, today's Talk Leadership Tuesday topic, optimistic leadership, is absolutely positive. And so I'm so thankful that you guys stopped by to hear a little bit about leadership, in this case, optimistic leadership, what the characteristics could look like. Maybe you actually, maybe some of it resonates with you and your leadership style. Maybe you're that optimistic leader that needed to hear a little bit about the caution side because nobody's ever really talked a lot about it, because we're just like, we're positive and everything's great because we're positive. But we do have to be careful and acknowledge that everybody's not like us. And we want to make sure that we're tapped in to our entire team and we're not leaving anyone out. And so that's what I had to share today for Talk Leadership Tuesday. I'm so glad you guys were able to join for this brief time. I'm going to have this posted in all of the social media outlets, so please feel free to share them with your team, with your networks, and with your family, because we are growing leaders from all over the world. Make sure you follow me and Leader Appears or Delilah Bartlett on LinkedIn, so you can be in tune for the most recent up-to-date information and messages. I'm so glad to have spent this time with you. I wish you a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.